Everybody, so tonight I'm going to be sketching with a ballpoint pen. So the first thing I like to do is capture the large shapes lightly. So this is a seated figure. So I would capture the large shape of the torso here, and the bottom shape of the hips and the legs here. It's very light. It is a sketch. I like the flow of the pen here, so I have this main shape here, the big shape. So from this shape is three-dimensional. So I want to have the arm here. So I would lightly make like a tube shape. And I know that it bends right about the end of the bottom of the ribs. So that's where that indentation would come. And then I'd round it out for the hips and buttocks here. Without too much detail. Again, keeping it just a light shape. And I also want to include the head and the chest area, so the stomach, chest comes out to about here, and the neck, head, chin, again just a light round shape, oval shape, and the edge of the face comes out to about, I would say, 3/4. These are the cheekbones. So you kind of make a line midway through where the eyes would be. And down the center, halfway through, would be the nose, the mouth split from the nose to the bottom of the chin. Again, this is just rough the way I do it. You could find more technical examples, but this is my method. So I shape out the hair, back of the neck, try to indicate the chin a bit. So also I want to indicate my light is going to be coming from straight down. Choosing your light is important because that's going to be your shade. So the light is coming from here, so the shade is going to be under the eyes. Under the nose, under the bottom lip, under the chin. Hi. Anisurman. Hi. So again, the light's coming straight down, so there'll be some shading under the breast area and the bottom of the arm here to indicate the muscles slightly here. And underneath here for some shadow under the arm. This is also going to wrap around a bit tighter here. So again on the right arm, it comes up underneath here, attaches to the rib cage, underneath the rib cage, the bone attached to the clavicle here, the neck bone. It comes down again. It's just a regular, like a cylinder shape. And this shape here is also like a cone ending in the hand, which is another shape, like a rectangle. And then I would put in where the fingers would be, details. So let me indicate this, the light. And this is somebody sitting cross-legged. This is a young lady sitting cross-legged, young woman. So again, I like these. These are what I call difficult poses because the body's all constricted and folded up, but still has proportions that has to make sense. And so okay, so this bone here is connected in here into the hip, so it's coming this way to the knee, but it's going in this way. So that means the knee curves, the bone under the knee curving down into the foot here. Hi, everybody. Hi, what do we have here? We have Chap Aratal Lopez. Hi, how are you? Grimbo Bimbo. Hi, everybody. This is the sketch practice with a pen, and this is a very fine pen. Meaning that it's I think it's 0.3. Anyway, so we gotta make sure you have fun now, shading in all the parts that are. So the light is here again. So you have to, if you picture the light. Coming down like as if it was like a flashlight, I guess. So the shading would be accordingly. So obviously the light is falling this way. Shadows will fall underneath to indicate there is light and shape there. And again, this is my method. So if you want more technical method, things that make more sense to you, whatever communicates to you best, this is the way I learn, and hopefully it communicates, it resonates with you. So I'll go on to another shape, another pose. I mean, excuse me. But it's also going to be a seated pose, but just in a different way. So I want to get the basic shape again, like I did before. It was the torso, the back, right? To the legs, to the hips. So again, the two basic shapes, like two long little, I don't know, potatoes or however you want to call it. I guess it's the potato sack method where it's just, kind of split it at the hips, top of the hips. And you would have the neck. As a rule, the head is about the shape of like I would say half the chest area, the torso. So if you go with that, it's not bad as a rule. Not as as a suggestion, not a rule, I should say. All right. Again, light sketching is always best. Drawing a very light line. So in this one, I want to do a portrait. So, and the center line will be lighter through his pencil, but this is pen, so you'll see all the lines for sketching purposes. And I would just put in like the very light lines of where the eyes would be. And remembering that the shape of the nose is like a triangle box that kind of moves out like that, the nostrils. And again, now I'm just making it a bit more detailed in the facial structure. From what I know of anatomy, that the mouth is about here, halfway between the bottom of the chin, which is here, and that would be the baseline of the jaw here. And that inserts underneath the cheekbone. And this is just the way I do it, and if you find it comfortable and you enjoy it, that's great. I hope you can subscribe and you can learn more from what I do, and I can learn more. I'm not an expert by any means, but I do practice a lot, and my effort is to be the best I can be. And I always suggest you practice until you're satisfied. And whatever you do, practice, consistent line width. Try not to waste lines. I didn't choose a light source with here, so I'm going to choose it from this way. This light source is going to be coming from this way. So that means the shading is all going to be mostly on this side, the darker shading. So I like using a ballpoint pen because it just has this very slick quality about it. And I like the heavy contrast of the black and whites, the subtle blending with the cross hatching you can do, or you could just go heavy blacks on all the shadows if you want. You don't have the freedom of erasing with a pencil, so it's a bit more committed. Maybe not a bit more, maybe even more than a bit, but that's what makes it fun for me, makes it its own study in itself. I didn't choose light source with this one, so let's go with this size. So again, with the lights coming here and shining, the shadows would all be back here to indicate the depth and weight of the shape. Just give it some depth and weight and okay, that's a productive 15 minutes. So hope everybody's enjoying tonight's how to draw with a pen, or how I draw with a pen, ballpoint pen. A few poses, a few studies, so I think this will be I don't know how long I'll be live tonight, but I don't think I'll be on too much longer, but I wanted to just give everybody an idea of how I do things and work on simple shapes. Again, I started with shapes like this, just like a bean shape, and then maybe I'll bend it like this and throw another bean in there. The top one is, whichever one is the top half, one is the bottom half, and then the middle basically attaches them. So if this is the chest, the arms, right? It's just a very loose sketch. But you see it came from starting with those two shapes, and then you build the legs out, measuring halves and quarters, what looks like it would be natural or starting to look natural. You fill in the details. Say this person is wearing a suit, pants. Whoop, let's give them a head. Nothing personal, I just found it superfluous at that point. Mustache, why not? There you go. So that's tonight's figure drawing, pen drawing, how to. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Have a great night, everybody. Hope to see you next time, and like and subscribe. Bye bye.